System+Crossing+Multiple female Hosts+Multiple Fruits+Non Invincible+Imperial Garden, do not enter with caution. Lin Yu travels through the world of pirates and receives a pirate group demon fruit as a gift from the system at the beginning. By recruiting special crew members, he can earn profits and also gain the opponent's abilities. Thus, Lin Yu's journey to become the King of Maria began. Ding! Successfully bound with Vinsmock rejoice and gained the opponent's ability. Bloodline Factor Transformer, ding! Success creates a bond with Robin and gains the opponent's ability. Flower and Fruit, Warring States period. Bastard Lin Yu, Return Tina and Ziyuan. Kato. Little Ghost, Put Down Runty Day. Ant. Katakuli, Where is Smokey? Daughter Kingdom. Hey, where is the Empress? Chapter 1 System. Pirate Fruit. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. Brain storage area. You can tell from the title that this book belongs to the type of bulldozer, so be cautious if you don't like it. The starting point is North Sea, North Sea, North Sea. North Sea, half a planet away from the Navy headquarters. System, you turtle, get rough with the labor management. May 1520 in the Yuan calendar. North Sea, Kingdom of Kachinob. On a dock in a large harbor, with short black hair, handsome features, and sword eyebrows, Lin Yu cursed at the sea. He had just graduated and was admitted to the provincial government as a civil servant in his hometown's provincial capital, successfully landing the job. As a result, on the day he received the onboarding notice, he was kicked into the pirate world by the dog system. Why is it said to be kicked? Because as he was going downstairs, he suddenly felt kicked in the back and rolled down the stairs. When I got up, I found that I had traveled to the world of the Pirate King. Not only did I automatically master the language of this world, but my body also turned into an 18-year-old appearance. At the same time, he also obtained a talent of having a sharp sense of mind and a newbie gift package. So Lin Yu determined that the cliff was kicked by the dog system. Just landed and received the notice of employment from the provincial department. It was time for spring breeze and horseshoe disease to see all the flowers in Chang'an in a day. Lin Yu didn't expect him to stumble and fall off his horse, entering the extremely bad world of pirates. How could he accept this? Go and catch that lowly person for me. Lord Tianlong, you are coming soon. He was shouting and shouting there, what kind of behavior? Also, blow away all the lowly people around you. Beside the dock, in a luxurious carriage that had just arrived here, a beautiful and exceptionally beautiful woman in splendid attire looked at Lin Yu in the distance, with a disgusted expression on her face, and quickly commanded the guards beside her. Due to the sudden visit of the Tianlong people, the dressed woman had no time to prepare in advance and could only bombard everyone around her now. Yes, Her Royal Highness Princess, Royal Highness Princess. The guard next to him heard the order and immediately ran towards Lin Yu. Princess Anna of the Kingdom of Kachinob began to command her servants, set up the dock, and prepare for the welcoming ceremony for the heavenly dragon people. Who? Lin Yu, who was unaware of the impending disaster, breathed a sigh of relief and felt much relieved after cursing. He is not someone who complains about others. He just cursed loudly, but because he was extremely depressed, just to ease his mood. Everyone has come, both cursing and cursing. In this way, Lin Yu was ready to fully experience the charm of the pirate world. There are advantages to an orderly world, and there are also advantages to an disordered world. With his abilities, even without a system, he can still thrive in the world of pirates. Not to mention the system left him a big gift package. Awakening Primary Armed Colorful Dominance, Awakening Primary Seeing Colorful Dominance, Awakening Primary Colorful Dominance, obtaining 1 Top Swordsman Experience card, obtaining 1 Devil Fruit, opening the gift package. Lin Yu had an additional Demon Fruit and a colorful card in his hand. And in his mind, he also gained a lot of knowledge about the dominance of the 3 colors. This experience card can be used 3 times for 30 minutes each time. Also, is this the legendary demon fruit? Lin Yu put away his cards and looked at the demon fruit in his hand, which looked like a grape, with some curiosity. After some thought, he picked a demon fruit grape with purple swirling stripes and threw it into his mouth. A system-produced product must be a masterpiece. Moreover, no matter what kind of demon fruit it is, it can give him the ability to stand firm in the world of pirates. As long as he can establish himself firmly in the early stages, Lin Yu is confident that he will turn the world of pirates upside down and make it his backyard. Yes, the backyard. Kneeling and licking the main characters is something he cannot do. Let Nami Robin Hood cook, kneel and lick him is the way. Ding. Detected the host's food system, Tuan fruit, and pirate Tuan form. The system automatically binds data to the fruit, and the host automatically obtains fruit capabilities such as exploration, ship control, etc. Exploration. Can view target information for crew recruitment, ship control. You can freely control your own pirate ships. Systems. How could there be such fruits? No, this should be a special fruit produced by the system. Feeling the additional system prompts in his mind, Lin Yu felt a slight joy. His system, team fruit, and pirate team fruit abilities are very simple. By establishing a pirate team, recruiting special crew members, and creating bonds with crew members, he can randomly acquire a crew member's ability, which is permanent. It can be a natural ability, or it can be a demon fruit ability. What is a special crew member? Characters with special abilities or plot characters that have appeared in the original work are called special crew members. At the same time, regardless of whether the crew members are bound by him or not, corresponding experience points will be provided to him every day. For example, he recruited a crew member with a 3-color aura, and after every hour, he can gain a certain amount of 3-color aura experience. Making him lie down can make him stronger. And his pirate group fruit can continue to upgrade and obtain more functions after meeting certain conditions. Just like the Egg Baron under Ant's command, every time they upgrade, their strength will be greatly enhanced. Current pirate squad level. Level 1, first level pirate group. Can recruit 3 fighters, 1 chef, 1 lookout, 1 navigator, 1 ship doctor, 2 miscellaneous workers, a total of 9 crew members. After recruiting 9 crew members, the reward amount for the entire ship reaches 100 million, which can be upgraded to a second-level pirate group, open up more crew positions, and receive special rewards. Looking at the prompt given by the system, Lin Yu squinted his eyes and then looked at his innate talent of having a sharp sense in his heart. Heart with rhinoceros, body without colorful phoenix double wings, heart with rhinoceros with 1-point communication. Charm greatly enhanced, attraction to opposite sex greatly enhanced after 1-point communication, consumption significantly reduced, CD significantly reduced. This talent seems very evil to me. Can the 3 words Yijian Tong still be used like this? Looking at the system's explanation of his talent, Lin Yu was stunned. This kind of fruit, this kind of talent, this is what led me to follow the path of 3 palaces and 6 courtyards. That's great. Quick. Get him. A loud shout pulled Lin Yu's thoughts back, and as soon as he looked up, he saw several guards dressed in full armor rushing towards him, obviously trying to catch him. Without doing anything, Lin Yu was suddenly arrested, causing his eyebrows to furrow slightly. Just as he was about to use the basic armed colors and basic sight and smell colors to let these people know why the flowers were so red, he saw a person in front of him who looked like a captain of the guards and whispered to him. Don't resist, I'll let you go later. The Tianlong people are coming soon. If you offend them, you will only have a dead end. So could you please come with us for a moment? After the captain finished speaking, he stared at Lin Yu without saying a word. He could feel the difference between Lin Yu and ordinary people. If possible, the captain also does not want to have conflicts with the other party, but the princess has orders, and he has to do it for the sake of his own family. Lin Yu frowned and looked at the team leader, feeling the kindness in their eyes before finally nodding. Lin Yu respects the goodwill that others actively release towards him, whether it's good or bad. Moreover, he also wants to see what kind of foolishness the heavenly dragon man in the pirate world looks like. Next, Lin Yu followed the guards and walked towards the small house next to the dock, quietly waiting for the arrival of the Tianlong people. There are other ordinary people inside the cabin, obviously just like Lin Yu, who were invited by the guards. Lin Yu arrived at the unmanned window on the second floor and waited quietly for the arrival of the Tianlong people. Not long after, a magnificent and huge ship appeared on the sea. Tianlong people, here we are. Chapter 2. Massacre of the Tianlong people. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. The docks of the Kingdom of Kachinab. At this point, the dock has been decorated by Princess Anna of the Kingdom of Kachinab. Flowers, red carpets, luxurious carriages, welcoming bands, welcoming commoners, everything is there. A huge and exceptionally magnificent ship was docked at the dock, with crowds of people on top of it, surrounded by many fully armed guards on the inner and outer floors. After waiting for a while, the ladder was finally lowered on the giant ship, and 3 figures with glass masks appeared next to the stairs of the magnificent ship. Lord Roswald. Lord Chalrose. Lord Charlotte Palace. Upon seeing the appearance of the heavenly dragon man, Princess Anna quickly took the lead in cheering. Under her leadership, the kings and nobles of the Kachinab kingdom also cheered and welcomed the arrival of the Tianlong people loudly. And the group performers disguised as commoners, brought by Princess Anna, knelt beside the road and dared not even glance at the Tianlong people. Even in the room where Lin Yu was located, he knelt to the ground. TSK, these Tianlong people are really looking foolish. Watching the celestial dragon man Chalrose being lifted off the ship by 2 maids and sitting on the back of a slave, Lin Yu shook his head in disgust. However, using this ship as a pirate ship is quite suitable. Turning his gaze to the ship that the Tianlong people were riding on, Lin Yu rubbed his chin, wondering whether to snatch the ship. Then, Lin Yu saw the young and beautiful female Tianlong man on the boat, looking at him with a shocked expression on his face. It was the first time Xia Lulia had seen her before kneeling down. However, this person is quite handsome. Seize him. But don't hurt him. I want him to be my pet. Xia Lulia pointed to the window where Lin Yu was located and gave orders to the people around her. Shwa shwa shwa. Bang, bang, bang. Several figures in suits emerged from next to Xia Lulia and rushed towards the second-floor window where Lin Yu was located, stepping on the moon steps. Do you actually want me to be a pet? Looking at the several CP0s rushing towards him, Lin Yu chuckled lightly and a playful idea came to his mind. Because Xiaolulia Palace did not allow harm to Lin Yu, several CP0s came to Lin Yu's body and remained indifferent, saying, "Be obedient and surrender, then let you move freely. If you dare to resist, I will tie you up." Seeing CP0 not taking action, Lin Yu grinned. Yes, I surrender." Raising his hands high, Lin Yu allowed CP0 to take him to Xiaolulia's side. In order to realize the fun idea in his heart, Lin Yu decided to follow the arrangement. Anyway, he has a top-level swordsman experience card, and it's easy for him to escape. After all, on Lin Yu's card that others cannot see, it depicts the future father of the 4th Emperor Baki. Eagle-eyed Mihawk. Sure enough, he's very handsome. Xiaolulia Palace looked at Lin Yu's appearance and her eyes lit up, showing a growing fondness for him. "You will follow me from now on." Xiaolulia Palace spoke arrogantly to Lin Yu. "Yes, Lord Xiaolulia Palace." Lin Yu smiled slightly and bowed slightly to Xiaolulia. "You can play whatever you want, but don't touch him." Roswald Saint glanced at Xiaolulia, who was stunned by Lin Yu's smile, and warned. "The bloodline of the Tianlong people is not allowed to be defiled by the lowly people." "I know, father," Charlotte nodded. Next, Lin Yu was taken by Xiao Lilia and boarded the carriage prepared for the Tianlong people, heading to the palace of the Kachanab kingdom. After arriving at the palace, Lin Yu was arranged to stay in Xiao Lilia's room. Under the supervision of Xiao Lilia's maid, Lin Yu took a shower, changed his clothes, and waited for Xiao Lilia's arrival. As night fell and it was estimated that time was approaching, Lin Yu stopped skillfully arming himself with colors and walked towards the door. "Lin Yu, how did you come out?" Xiao Lilia's maid was surprised when she saw Lin Yu come out. "I'm a bit hungry, come late to find something to eat." Lin Yu smiled slightly, took out the top-level swordsman experience card, and used it directly. Gain top-level stamina, remaining 30 minutes, obtain top-level armed color dominance, remaining 30 minutes, obtaining top-notch visual dominance. Obtaining top-level swordsmanship. Achieve top-level. In an instant, Lin Yu's eyes were brushed and his body was instantly filled with strength. The next second, he appeared behind the maid and knocked her unconscious with a knife. Later, he picked up a decorative sword from the armor statue on the road and walked into the banquet hall of the Kachanab kingdom to welcome the Dragon Man. At this time, the original guards and servants of the Kachanab palace were all driven out, and even the palace gate was closed, making it impossible for outsiders to enter. Lin Yu was not afraid of killing innocent people by mistake. "What kind of person are you?" A Tianlong man guarding outside the entrance of the banquet hall looked at Lin Yu walking towards him and shouted questions loudly. The answer to him was a blade of light waved by Lin Yu. Shwa! Blood splattered, and the heads of the Tianlong people guarding flew up. Lin Yu had no psychological burden when killing the Tianlong people who were guarding for the tiger. After dealing with several guards outside the gate, Lin Yu replaced them with a long sword and killed all the Tianlong people guarding other positions in the palace. Afterwards, he returned to the entrance of the banquet hall and pushed the door open to enter. TSK, isn't that the queen of the kingdom of Kachanab? Tianlongren, you really know how to play. Entering the gate, Lin Yu was amazed to see the queen lying at the feet of Roswald, half-dressed. Beside Roswald, the wife of the prime minister of the kingdom turned pale, obviously not expecting the Tianlong people to be so reckless. In the center of the dance floor, Chaorose played a game of cat and mouse in the group of ladies, and whoever he caught would be bitten fiercely. And all the suffering lords, including King Kachanab, could only kneel in the corner of the nearby hall, watching their wives and daughters being desecrated by the heavenly dragon man. It's really absurd. I envy it so much. Lock the door. Lin Yu shook his head and came to Chaorose's side. Who are you? Is she your wife? Let me use it first. Chaorose was holding a noblewoman and gnawing fiercely when he saw Lin Yu coming to his side. He lifted his silly face with a runny nose and spoke in confusion. Holy Lord Chaorose, be careful. A CP0 was shocked to see Lin Yu suddenly appear next to Chaorose. Shwa! Lin Yu raised his sword and fell it. Dong! Chaorose's unbelievable head flew up and fell to the ground with a thud. For a moment, the banquet hall was quiet and needles could be heard falling. Ah! Ah! The noblewoman in Chaorose's arms was drenched in blood, screamed, fainted and fell to the ground, followed by even greater screams in the group of noblewomen. The ladies looked at Lin Yu as if they were looking at a demon, screaming loudly, and the scene was instantly chaotic. Get him! The Tianlong people are guarding Lin Yu, preparing to catch this bold and fearless villain. Shave! Finger the gun! Lan Jiao! 3 CP0s instantly appeared behind Lin Yu and attacked him. A sword light flashed through Lin Yu's hand, and 2 broken arms and 1 broken leg flew out. Next, there were 3 heads with unbelievable faces. Among the members of CP0, there are strengths and weaknesses. The stronger ones are not much worse than the 4th Emperor General, while the weaker ones are only at the level of an ordinary CP9. And it was obviously the latter who was sent to protect the Chaorose family. Chaorose. Roswald looked at Charles, who had died tragically, his face turned pale, and he crushed the little phone worm in his hand. I'll take you to see him. The next second, Lin Yu appeared next to Roswald and waved the sword in his hand. 10 minutes later, Lin Yu massacred all the guards of the Tianlong people and CP0. The nobles, and ladies of the kingdom of Kachinab were all knocked unconscious by him, and these people will be his important chips. Carrying the heads of Roswald and Chaorose, Lin Yu walked towards the second floor of the banquet hall. Lord Xiaolulia Palace, I'm here. Chapter 3. The So-Called Bonds. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Xiaolulia, Lord Xiaolulia Palace, please, don't. No. Princess Anna, who was tied to a scaffold, looked at the soldering iron held by Charlotte, her face pale with fear. At this moment, her attire was shattered and her whole body was covered in whiplash marks, clearly tormented by Charlotte. Hee, Princess Anna, this is my reward for you. What? Do you dare to disobey my orders? Xiaolulia gestured with a soldering iron in front of Princess Anna's pretty little face, smiling. No, I dare not. Princess Anna, staring at the constantly wandering soldering iron in front of her, trembled all over. Bang! The door of the room was kicked open, and Lin Yu walked in carrying 2 heads. Lord Xiaolulia Palace, this is a gift for you. After speaking, Lin Yu threw the heads of Roswald and Chaorose to Xiaolulia. Father. Seeing the heads of her father and brother in her hand, Xiaolulia rolled her eyes and fainted directly to the ground. Also fainting together was Princess Anna, who was frightened by the soldering iron that Charlotte had dropped at her feet. TSK, these Tianlong people are really good at playing. Lin Yu looked at Princess Anna, who was tied up, and was amazed. At this moment, Princess Anna's clothes were shattered, but they covered the key points. Her fair skin, paired with bloody whip marks, had a strange beauty and temptation. Name. Anna, identity. Princess, special effects. None, talent. Patience, friendly rating .50, power. No star rating, patience. Double the duration of all skills. Exploring Anna's information, Lin Yu glanced at the unconscious partner and nodded. It's really quite tolerable. Moreover, this skill works well with his mind, reducing consumption, CD, and time, making him invincible. Then, he looked at Xiaolulia, the heavenly dragon man. Name. Xiaolulia, identity. World noble, stunt. Authoritative training, talent. None, friendly rating .200, power. No star rating, authoritative training. Able to make people with lower strength and status gradually obey themselves. TSK, this skill seems quite good. Cooperating with my Tuan fruit, it's quite suitable for grabbing people. Looking at the messages from Anna and Xiaolulia, Lin Yu smiled slightly. Charlotte is a character who appears in the original work and is already a special crew member. However, he did not expect Anna to possess special talents and meet the requirements of a special crew member. Subsequently, Lin Yu left the palace and quickly ran towards the ships of the Tianlong people, using the remaining time to kill the remaining Tianlong people guards. Afterwards, he returned to the kingdom again and arrived at the second floor of the banquet hall. Next, let's take a look at the effects of this one-click communication. Watching Princess Anna and Xiaolulia gradually awaken, Lin Yu smiled slightly. How dare you kill the Tianlong people? Princess Anna, who had just woken up, looked at the heads of 2 heavenly dragon people on the ground with an incredulous expression on her face. What if I killed it? After speaking, Lin Yu walked towards Princess Anna. No, don't kill me. Looking at the long sword dripping with blood in Lin Yu's hand, Princess Anna turned pale and prayed loudly. Princess, if you want to survive, you have to obey my orders, okay? Swinging his sword, Lin Yu cut off the chain tied to Anna. He looked at the other person with a smile and slowly slid his long sword down from their smooth throat. I will definitely be obedient, I will definitely be obedient. Anna trembled all over, glanced at the long sword in Lin Yu's hand, and quickly nodded. Anna, are you willing to join my pirate group and become my subordinate? Upon hearing this, Lin Yu chuckled lightly and extended an invitation to Anna to join the group. This is a mandatory requirement for recruiting people to join the group, only in this way will the group fruit recognize Anna's crew identity. I'm willing, Anna nodded quickly. Ding! Anna joins the crew and the pirates group is officially established. Please choose Anna's crew position, fighter/chef/ship doctor. Miscellaneous, worker. Lin Yu didn't even think about it, so he directly made Anna a worker. Alright, now that the ceremony has been completed, let's move on to the main topic of one-point communication. You should know how to do it, Princess Anna. Lin Yu finished speaking and sat on a nearby chair. Anna's pretty face turned pale, her whole body trembled, and she lay on the ground, crawling towards Lin Yu's feet. Lin Yu couldn't help but squint his eyes as he exhaled a long breath. Ding! Success creates a bond with Anna and gains her ability. Patience. Upon hearing the system prompt, Lin Yu was taken aback and couldn't help but laugh. Can this create bonds? Then my future goals will be very clear. Robin, Nami, Hancock, Tina, Yamato, Smokey. Thinking of the various and powerful beauties in the world of pirates, Lin Yu couldn't help but curl his lips slightly. Then, Lin Yu pushed Anna away and walked towards Xiao Lulia, who was unconscious. Since being intimate with Anna can create bonds, she naturally won't let go of Xiao Lulia, the heavenly dragon man. The opponent's skills are very compatible with his devil fruit ability, so he naturally needs to acquire them. Arriving at Xiao Lulia's side, Lin Yu raised his right hand. Anna next to her trembled when she saw Lin Yu's movements, and then tightly grasped the coat left by Lin Yu to cover herself. When Anna saw the slap mark on Xiao Lulia's face and thought of what the other person had just done to her, she couldn't help but feel a sense of pleasure. Lin Yu narrowed his eyes and looked at Xiao Lulia, who had not yet woken up, with too big pussy. Xiao Lulia woke up quietly, turned her head, and saw the heads of her father and brother. She rolled her eyes and fainted again. Lin Yu raised his eyebrows and raised his right hand again. Pop pop. Ding. Anna's friendliness towards the host has increased by 3, currently 18, with chi and blood plus 1/hour, Charlotte woke up again. Pop pop. Ding. Anna's friendliness to the host has increased by 2, current 20, chi and blood plus 2/hour, Xiao Lulia. The awakened Xiao Lulia covered her face and was immediately stunned by Lin Yu, with an incredulous expression on her face. Ah! No, don't hit me again. Seeing Lin Yu raise her right hand again, Xiao Lulia could no longer hold on and knelt in front of Lin Yu, praying. Charlotte, are you willing to join my pirate group and become my subordinate? Lin Yu patted with his long sword, and Xiao Lulia's pretty face was full of smiles. Just like the smile that Charlotte showed to Anna with a soldering iron just now. I am willing. Watching the long sword constantly wandering on her body, Xiao Lulia's face turned pale and she nodded repeatedly. Ding. Xiao Lulia joins the team, please choose Xiao Lulia's crew position. Lin Yu once again chose to work as a laborer. Only the position of miscellaneous worker is suitable for Anna's princess status and Charlotte's world noble status. Here, I'll give you this special necklace as a gift. Lin Yu helped Xiao Lulia put on the collar from the side. Charlotte trembled slightly and dared not resist. Later, Anna rushed over and held down Xiao Lulia, excitedly speaking to Lin Yu. Sir, I'll help you. Lin Yu. Chapter 4. The King of the World. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Beihai. The headquarters base of the Navy in the North Sea. Communication room. Poru, Poru. Poru, Poru. Ka-chi. Hello. The Navy in the communication room picked up a phone worm with one hand and took notes with a pen with the other. I am the North Sea branch of CP0. The Tianlong people have been attacked in the kingdom of Kachanab in the North Sea. Quickly dispatched naval support. What? The Tianlong people have been attacked. The communication navy was taken aback, somewhat incredulous. Who is so bold as to dare to attack the world's noble Tianlong people? Don't talk nonsense, send support immediately. A roar came from within the phone worm, and then the phone hung up. The communication navy dared not delay and immediately ran to the commander's office at the base. Your Excellency, General Duoluo, the Heavenly Dragon Man has been attacked in the kingdom of Kachanab. We request support. Pushing open the office door, the communication navy shouted at the figure in front of the window. What are you talking about? A world noble has been attacked. General Dolo suddenly turned around and spoke in shock, suspecting whether he had misheard. Yes, Your Excellency, Lieutenant General, confirmed the communication navy again. General Duoluo was surprised and finally believed in the fact that the Tianlong people had been attacked, shouting loudly. Order, all navies begin to gather. Prepare to depart in half an hour. If something happens to the Tianlong people in his jurisdiction, he will definitely be angered by the world government. Yes. The communication navy quickly ran to the communication room. Woo-woo. Subsequently, an emergency gathering sound sounded inside the naval base. Half an hour later, 5 warships, led by General Dolo, sailed towards the kingdom of Kachanab. The next morning, Lin Yu sits on the throne of the kingdom of Kachanab. In front of the throne, there are nobles, ministers, and noblewomen kneeling on the ground. These people occasionally secretly looked up at Lin Yu sitting on the throne and Xia Lulia kneeling next to him, their hearts filled with shock. Surprisingly, he dares to do such a thing to the world's nobles. This person is really bold and reckless. However, that proud Miss World noble is now lying beside this person like a dog. It's really the first time I've seen her. This person will definitely not escape the pursuit of the navy. Ignoring the whispers below, Lin Yu caressed Xia Lulia's head beside him, as if caressing a pet. After a night of swordsmanship education, Xia Lutia's friendliness towards Lin Yu rapidly increased under the influence of one-point communication. But from point 200 to point 50, it no longer changes and only provides Lin Yu with 1 stamina per hour. Lin Yu knew that this was because he had killed Xia Lulia's father and brother. The revenge of killing his father is unforgettable, but Lin Yu can understand it. Lin Yu doesn't mind this, as he has successfully acquired the relevant knowledge of the opponent's skill, authoritative training. It is precisely through the use of this skill that Lin Yu was able to make the kingdom ministers of Kachanab obedient with the support of his domineering aura. Master, this is a list of all the treasures in the treasure trove of the kingdom of Kachanab. Princess Anna, also dressed in maid attire, came to Lin Yu and knelt on the ground, presenting the list in her hand. With the help of Lin Yu, he completed his revenge on Xia Lulia, along with a night of swordsmanship education. Princess Anna's friendliness towards Lin Yu has reached 60 at this time, providing 6 points of qi and blood for Lin Yu every hour. With the blessing of authoritative training, he was very obedient to Lin Yu. Oh, there's actually a good and fast knife. Looking at the list of treasures, Lin Yu nodded with satisfaction. Due to the experience card of the top swordsman, Lin Yu is preparing to follow the path of a swordsman. The swords of the pirate world are divided into the Supreme Great Blade, Good Blade, Quick Blade, and Ordinary Blade. Among them, there are 12 skills of the Supreme Great Quick Knife, 20.1 skills of the Great Quick Knife, and 50 skills of the Good Quick Knife. That is to say, there are only 83 famous swords above the good and quick knives in the pirate world. Even the 3rd generation Ghost Che gifted to Sauron by the owner of the Rogue Town weapons store, the Shiyu in Daki's hand was just a quick knife. This is also the reason why Lin Yu would be surprised to see a good and fast sword in the treasure trove of the Kachanab kingdom. Put all these things and the money they have handed over onto the ship of the Tianlong people, and then load it with enough food and wine. He casually threw the list in his hand to Anna, and Lin Yu began to give orders. At this point, he had already learned from Charlotte the effect of the telephone worm that Rhodes had crushed. The news that he killed the Tianlong people must have leaked out. However, the closest naval base to the kingdom of Kachanab takes at least 1 day to reach. So Lin Yu is not in a hurry. Yes, master. Upon hearing the instructions, Anna immediately walked outside the palace and instructed the kingdom guards and servants to carry the contents of the treasure trove and the life-saving money handed over by the noblewomen and ladies of the kingdom. Because the Tianlong people drove everyone out of the Kachanab palace last night, the others are still unaware of what happened inside the palace. And Anna also had to follow Lin Yu all the way to the dark because she had been helping Lin Yu to make Xia Lulia a mess last night. So there is no objection to Lin Yu's arrangement, and she also hopes to leave this troublemaker as soon as possible. Seeing Anna leave, Lin Yu started using the system to check his current information. Host. Lin Yu physical fitness. 1 star. Spirit. 1 star. Chi and blood. 1 star. Swordsmanship. 1 star. Body technique. 1 star. Armed color. 2 stars. Seeing and hearing colors. 2 stars. Overlord color. 2 stars. Special talent. Patience and a sharp heart. Special skills. Authoritative training, exploration, and ship control. Devil fruit. System series, Tuan Tuan fruit, Pirate Tuan fruit. Basic combat power. 2 stars / second lieutenant of the headquarters. Additional combat power. Top level swordsman experience card / 2 remaining times note. Ability levels 1 to 3 stars are beginners, 4 to 6 stars are intermediate, 7 to 9 stars are advanced, and 10 stars are top. Level. Note. Combat power does not equal destructive power. Note. Only naval sergeants who exercise regularly can achieve a physical ability of 1 star. Is it a second lieutenant in the headquarters? This position can now be draped with a cloak of justice. Looking at his own information, Lin Yu frowned and felt good. Due to eating the devil's fruit, Lin Yu's basic quality directly reached 1 star, coupled with his awakened tricolor dominance, his combat power successfully reached 2 stars, reaching the level of a second lieutenant in the Navy headquarters. Don't underestimate the basic quality improvement of this star. This is the fundamental reason for the gap between Lin Yu and ordinary guard soldiers. According to the system, ordinary people like Anna and Charlotte do not have a star rating at all. Only Navy sergeants who exercise regularly can have a 1-star physical fitness. What is a Navy sergeant who is trained year-round? When Daki appeared in Rog Town, he was a naval sergeant. 2 years later, he will become a second lieutenant in the headquarters, comparable to Lin Yu's current strength. Although Daki was just a sergeant when she first appeared, her strength at the time was far superior to other ordinary naval soldiers. This is the difference between 1 star's physical fitness and that of ordinary people. Until noon, Anna finally finished filling up the contents of the treasure trove. And Lin Yu also boarded this giant ship, which originally belonged to the Tianlong people, with Xia Lulia. In the world of pirates, ships are divided into several types. Micro, small, medium, large, and giant. The Mary belongs to the category of micro vessels, the Sunny belongs to the category of medium vessels, the regular warship belongs to the category of large vessels, and the largest naval vessel belongs to the category of giant vessels. Ding. Detect if the host steps on an unowned vessel, should we bind it? After binding, the host can freely control the ship based on its control ability. Ship bound, please name. Lin Yu glanced at Xia Lulia, who was following him and wearing a special necklace, and chuckled lightly. Divine Slave. Ding. Named successfully, obtained the main ship of the pirate squad. Shenu. The next moment. The canvas on the Shenu automatically fell, the rudder automatically rotated and adjusted, and the ship's side sailed offshore towards the depths of the sea. Lin Yu stood at the bow of the ship with Anna and Xia Lulia, feeling excited. I am the king of the world. Chapter 5. A bounty of 100 million yuan. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. Twilight. The Kingdom of Kachinab. Within the palace. General Dolo looked at the body of the separated father and son of Roswald, with an unpleasant expression on his face. The world noble Tianlong people died tragically in his jurisdiction, and his future life may not be easy. Your Excellency, according to King Kachinab's answer, Lord Charlotte and Princess Anna of the Kachinab Kingdom were both abducted by that person. Even the seat ship of the Tianlong people was stolen by that person and is now nowhere to be found. The guards responsible for protecting the Tianlong people and all members of CP0 died, and all the money in the Kachinab Palace was looted. According to the memories of the king and his ministers, this person possesses extremely strong strength. Those CP0 and Tianlongren guards were almost instantly killed with just one move, their strength was extremely terrifying. A major general came to Dolo and carefully reported the investigation results. Upon hearing these words, General Duoyuo's face became increasingly ugly and he asked in a deep voice. Who is the prisoner? Major General handed a photo to Major General Dolo and said. According to the information provided by the followers of the Tianlong people, this person is called Lin Yu. At around the age of 18, he has extremely strong swordsmanship and is suspected to be a great swordsman. Moreover, he displayed both armed and visible auras. Suspected to have the ability to control ships independently. Looking at the photo of Lin Yu with his black short hair and handsome features in his hand, General Duoluo squinted his eyes and asked. Lin Yu. He's from the Kingdom of Flowers. The general hesitated for a moment and nodded, I can't rule out this possibility. In the world of pirates, only the Kingdom of Flowers would have such a name. Ha, Lin Yu. No matter where you escape, you can't escape the pursuit of the Navy. You will have to pay the price for what you did today sooner or later. General Duoluo said this, pinching the photo in his hand into a ball and looking at the Major General in front of him, he continued. Send all the news here back to the Navy headquarters. Ask the headquarters to issue a bounty wanted notice for Lin Yu, the God Slayer. Upon hearing this, the Major General raised his head and continued to ask. How much is the bounty amount booked? Thinking of Xiaolulia Palace, a Tianlong person who was abducted by Lin Yu. Major Duoluo squinted his eyes and said in a deep voice, suggest setting it to 100 million for headquarters. 100 million. The Rear Admiral looked up in shock, his face full of disbelief. The first time he was wanted, he was offered a reward of 100 million, which is one of the few things in the world of pirates. General Duoluo glanced at the Major General and said. With the crimes he committed against the world's nobility, 100 million is already the minimum limit. I understand, Your Excellency. Upon hearing this, the Rear Admiral turned around and left, preparing to return to the warship and relay the news back to the Navy headquarters. General Dolo, the CP0 organization of the world government is here. A Navy hurriedly ran to Lieutenant General Dolo's side and said quickly. Upon hearing this, General Duoluo suddenly turned his head to look at the entrance of the palace. At the entrance of the palace, 3 figures wearing strange masks and white suits with dark ties were walking in. And they were holding several heads in their hands. It is the heads of the kings and ministers of the Kingdom of Kachinab. Navy, this is taken over by CP0. A CP0 member led by him spoke softly as he passed by General Dolo's side. The Brigadier General who just sent the message looked at the head held in CP0's hand and looked angry. He didn't expect these people to dare to directly execute the king of the kingdom of Kachinab. They died at the hands of the villains who killed the Tianlong people. Do you have any objection to this? CP0, the leader, glanced at the major general and casually threw the head in his hand onto the ground, heading towards the room in the palace where the attendants of the heavenly dragon people were being held. At that time, Lin Yu only killed the Tianlong man guard and CP0 members, but he spared all the accompanying servants and even urged them to leave quickly. At this point, most of the people who stayed behind were those who held a lucky heart to report Lin Yu. Don't worry too much. General Dolo stopped the angry Major General and then left the area with all members of the Navy. He could feel that the 3 CP0 members in front of him were all much stronger than him, and they were not ordinary CP0 members at all. Arriving at the room where the servants were being detained, the leading CP0 looked at the servants of the Tianlong people inside and spoke coldly. If the noble guardians of the world are not effective, their crimes should be punished. Lan Jiao. As soon as the words were spoken, the CP0 lifted his foot and swung it with a huge horizontal slash, cutting off all the servants in the room. Let's go, it's time to find the historical text rubbings that the kingdom of Kachinab has stolen. The main purpose of the 3 of them coming here was to search for the historical text rubbings that the kingdom of Kachinab had hidden. Dealing with the murder of the Tianlong people and casually blaming Lin Yu for the killing of King Kachino is their secondary goal. An hour later, night fell. 3 CP0 members left the Kachinab palace. Behind them, the Kachinab palace was blazing flames and collapsing, illuminating the surrounding night like daylight. Naval Headquarters, Marinfando. Meeting King Branny is sitting in the communication office, processing the documents in his hand. Suddenly, a Navy officer hurriedly pushed the door open and handed him the document in his hand. Sir, there's an accident. Branny frowned and glanced at the Navy, his expression displeased. In a panic, what exactly happened? The Navy swallowed its saliva and quickly said. The world's noble Tianlong people were attacked in the kingdom of Kachinab in the North Sea, with the deaths of Saint Roswald and Saint Chowros, and the disappearance of Charlotte Palace. Upon hearing this, Branny opened his eyes wide and looked shocked. He immediately snatched the intelligence from the Navy and quickly checked and read it. Surprisingly, it's true. Is Lin Yu, the God Slayer? He's really audacious. This is really a big deal. You must immediately tell the Marshal of the Warring States period. Looking at the message sent back by General Dolo in the North Sea, Branny muttered a few words to himself, ran out of the office, and headed towards Marshal's office. In the Marshal's office. Cap. How dare you steal my tea again? Damn it, you're soaking so much. Marshal of the Navy, during the Warring States period of the Buddha era, saw his precious tea leaves being spoiled by Kapu and roared with heartache. This is a precious tea that he finally obtained from the flower country. He only needs to brew 2 pieces at a time, which not only emits the fragrance of the tea to the extreme, but also meets his daily needs. As a result, he was suddenly soaked by Cap, which made his heart ache to death. Ha ha ha, Warring States period, don't be so stingy. Come on, I'll treat you to Shinbei. Kapu smiled and patted the shoulder of the Warring States period, laughing and speaking. Damn it. Is this stingy? This is because you wasted a lot of money. The Warring States period was once again enraged, grabbing the Shinbei from Kapu's hand and pouring it all into his mouth, making Kapu blow his beard and stare angrily. Warring States period, you actually ate all of it, it's too much. You go, I go. The Warring States period chewed on the fairy shell and spoke vaguely. Bang! While 2 inexperienced people were fighting and making a fuss, Branny ran into the office and panicked, shouting. Marshal of the Warring States period, things are not going well. The world's aristocratic Tianlong people were attacked in the kingdom of Kachinab in the North Sea, with the deaths of Saint Roswald and Saint Chowros, and the whereabouts of Charlotte Palace remain unknown. Chapter 6. Naval Headquarters Vibration. You are listening at Naval full.audio. Puff. Upon hearing this, the Warring States period spewed out all the fairy shells in their mouths and looked at Branyu with a surprised expression, saying, "You said the Tianlong people were killed. Hey, Warring States period, isn't it just too trash dead? Why are you spraying me all over?" Kapu, who was sprayed with fairy shell fragments during the Warring States period, said discontentedly. What? Are Tianlong people garbage? Branyu looked at Cap with a shocked expression on his face. After speaking, Cap finally realized and looked at the pale face of the Warring States period and the shocked Branyu, saying, I just made a mistake. Just pretend that I haven't said it before. During the Warring States period, upon hearing this, the corner of his eye twitched and he shouted at Cap. Cap, pay attention to your words. Even if you think Tianlong people are trash, you can't say it. Marshal of the Warring States period, even you said that Branyu's 3 perspectives have been refreshed once again. Tell me what's going on. After shouting at Cap, the Warring States period finally turned to Branyu, preparing to hear his report on the killing of the Tianlong people. Marshal of the Warring States period, the prisoner's name is. A few minutes later, after listening to Branyu's report on the Warring States period, he waved back the other party, frowned, and had an unpleasant expression on his face. The god slayer Lin Yu possesses both armed and experienced auras, and his swordsmanship is extremely terrifying, resembling that of a great swordsman. Slay all the members of the Heavenly Dragon Guardians and CP0, kill the Heavenly Dragon Saint Roswald and Saint Charles, and kidnap Princess Anna from Charlotte Palace and the Kingdom of Kashinab. Suspected to have the ability to control a ship by one person. The Beihai branch suggests setting its bounty at 100 million yuan. Looking back on Branyu's report just now, it was a headache during the Warring States period. Surprisingly able to instantly kill CP0 members. Is this a damn newcomer? Or is it that all the newcomers nowadays are so terrifying? TSK, surprisingly able to instantly kill CP0. Warring States, you're in big trouble. Kapu looked at the intelligence in the hands of the Warring States from the side and was amazed, gloating at it. Now that 2 garbage have died, the Warring States period will definitely be troubled by the 5 old stars. How much do you think the bounty should be set appropriately? Ignoring Kapu's gloating, the Warring States asked. 2 trash died this time, just order 500 million. Cap scratched his nostrils and said nonchalantly. Just Lin Yu's performance in killing CP0 members in a flash deserves this bounty. 500 million. The first bounty was only 500 million, which is too exaggerated. The Warring States period shook its head repeatedly upon hearing these words. Bang! Suddenly, the panicked Branyu pushed the door back in and loudly said to the Warring States period. Marshal of the Warring States period, things are not going well. According to the news from CP0, the king of the Kingdom of Kashinab was also killed by the god-killer Lin Yu, and even the palace was burned down. The soldiers of the kingdom suffered heavy casualties. What? The king of the Kingdom of Kashinab was actually killed by Lin Yu. Upon hearing these words, the Warring States period was instantly shocked. The Kingdom of Kashinab is a member of the world government, and now that the king of the Kingdom of Kashinab has been killed, their navy cannot sit idly by and even show great importance to this matter. Otherwise, it will only generate other ideas from other member countries of the world government, which is not conducive to the governance of the world government. Poor Lu, poor Lu, poor Lu, poor Lu. At this moment, the telephone worm in the marshal's office rang, and the Warring States period walked over and picked up the phone. Ka-chi. Hello. Warring States period. You bastard, hurry up and catch that person named Lin Yu, otherwise I won't be able to explain to the 5 elders of the world government. Within the phone worm, there was a roar from the Commander-in-Chief of the Navy, Land and Air Force, Steelbone Kong. Obviously, the incident of Tianlong being killed in Beihai also gave him a headache. I understand. Faced with the roar of Steel Bone Kong, the Warring States period was clearly prepared. They used their fingers to dig out their ears, calmly said a sentence, and then hung up the phone directly. Steel Bone Kong is a bit talkative, and the Warring States period did not want to entangle too much with him. Porn, 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 porn. Just as the Warring States period ended, the phone worm rang again. Pinching his forehead, he picked up the phone worm again, feeling a bit headache during the Warring States period, which made Cap beside him gloating. Ka-chi. The Warring States period. You should already know about the Tianlong people being killed in Beihai, right? In the name of the 5 old stars, I order you to quickly capture and bring the culprit to justice, and hand it over to the world government for disposal. Just as the Warring States period answered the phone, the roar of the 5 old stars immediately came from the microphone. With a frown, the Warring States period calmly said, I know. Subsequently, the angry roar of the 5 old stars spread out again from the phone worm. This bastard not only killed the Tianlong people, but also the king of the kingdom of Kachinab. You must send someone to quickly apprehend him and bring him to justice, giving the world government an explanation. Moreover, the humiliation of the Tianlong people also needs to be washed away with blood. After Wu Laoxing finished speaking, he hung up the phone directly. Looking at the hung-up phone, Warring States shook its head and then said to Blanu. Immediately organize a high-level meeting of the Navy, and all personnel at or above the rank of Rear Admiral in the headquarters must attend. Give you half an hour. Upon hearing that the meeting was about to take place, the meeting king, Branny, immediately regained his composure, bowed and shouted, Yes, Marshal of the Warring States period. After speaking, he immediately ran to the door to prepare for the meeting. Kapu on the side heard that a meeting was about to take place and immediately left, so he didn't have the leisure to have such a boring meeting. Cap. Don't try to run, you bastard. Seeing Kapu preparing to escape, the Warring States directly grabbed the opponent. Let go of our Warring States period, I don't want to waste time on such things. You shut up for me. Half an hour later. The Warring States period appeared in the conference room on time. A series of high-level naval headquarters, including Red Dog, Green Pheasant, Kapu, Crane, etc., have all arrived. Glancing at the Warring States period, he asked in a deep voice. Where's the Yellow Ape? He clearly remembers that the Yellow Ape should be at the Navy headquarters today. Upon hearing this, Branny quickly explained. Your Excellency, the Yellow Ape, we just went to the Shampoo Islands. During the Warring States period, when he heard this, his mouth twitched. The Yellow Ape, this bastard, must have known about the Tianlong man being killed. The killing of the Tianlong man is very troublesome, and doing it well is not beneficial. If it is done poorly, there is still a possibility of being trained. Therefore, the Yellow Ape directly chose to slip away and fully utilize his skills to make ends meet. With a cough, the Warring States looked at all the senior naval officers present and said in a deep voice. Just recently, the family of the world's aristocratic Tianlong people, Roswald, was attacked in the North Sea, resulting in 2 deaths and 1 missing. The St. Roswald they were riding on was also taken away. The St. Roswald is a ship modified from a warship, with far superior speed and maneuverability compared to other ordinary ships. And on this basis, Roswald underwent a renovation, directly causing the cost of the Roswald to soar to 3 billion belly. Upon hearing these words, the Navy was immediately shocked. Obviously, I didn't expect the world's noble Tianlong people to be attacked. A young general asked curiously. Marshal of the Warring States period, who exactly attacked the Tianlong people? Chapter 7. A bounty of 1.5 billion yuan. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. Upon hearing the Major General's question, the Warring States did not answer, but instead looked at Branny. Branny understood and stood up to explain. The prisoner's name is Lin Yu, suspected to be from the Kingdom of Flowers. This person is ruthless and ruthless. He not only killed the Saint Father and son of Roswald, but also wiped out all the Sky Dragon Guardians and CP0 members around them. Even the king of the kingdom of Kachinob was killed and the palace was destroyed. And they also abducted Princess Anna from the heavenly dragon people's Zyalolia palace and the kingdom of Kachinob. Upon hearing this, Red Dog, Green Pheasant, Crane, and others all frowned. Others were also stunned by Lin Yu's crazy performance and couldn't speak. Whether it's killing the Tianlong people or killing the kings of the world's participating countries, they are all huge events that will cause world shaking. And this person actually did two things directly at once. I'm afraid this person is crazy. As the silence fell, the Warring States period spoke up. Whether it's the killing of the Tianlong people or the killing of the world government's franchised kings, it's all very serious things. Now, not only Commander-in-Chief Steele has issued an order to apprehend Lin Yu. Even the 5 elders of the world government require us to capture Lin Yu and bring him to justice. So, we must take immediate action. A major general from Beihai voluntarily volunteered. Marshal of the Warring States period, let me handle this matter. That place in Beihai, he's familiar with it. Capturing Lin Yu is a sure bet. You're not suitable. The Warring States period shook its head and denied. Lin Yu himself seems to possess the strength of a great swordsman, and even ordinary CP0 members cannot resist his attacks. And he also seems to have the ability to control ships independently. With his mastery of the St. Roswald, even if he wants to use a warship for long-range shelling, he may not necessarily be an opponent of the enemy. So this matter must be coordinated by a lieutenant general leading 3 warships in order to have full confidence in capturing them. Upon hearing the words, Red Dog stood up. Since that's the case, let me handle it. Red Dog is also from Beihai, and now that such a notorious villain has emerged in Beihai, he cannot sit idly by. Upon hearing this, Qingji, he and others glanced at Red Dog one after another. Other major generals were also surprised, and it was unexpected that Red Dog would take the initiative to take over this matter. The Warring States period glanced at Red Dog and nodded in satisfaction. If all the naval generals were scumbags like yellow apes, it would really be over. So he looked at the Red Dog and said, very good. After the world government and navy trace the whereabouts of the St. Roswald, you can lead the team forward. If Red Dog intervenes, then Lin Yu can hardly jump around for long. Marshal of the Warring States period, what amount of bounty should be set for the prisoner Lin Yu? Asked Blan Yu. Upon hearing these words, the Warring States period quickly pondered. Navy Chief of Staff Crane glanced at the Warring States period and calmly said. He not only killed the Tianlong people, but also the king of the Kachinob kingdom. We might as well set his bounty higher to demonstrate our determination to capture this person and leave the world government speechless, so I suggest setting it at 1 billion. Other rear admirals and major generals of the navy were immediately shocked upon hearing these words. 1 billion, this is already the bounty amount for the elite cadres of the 4 emperors' pirates. Upon hearing this, the Warring States period nodded in agreement. Then, with a big wave of his hand, he said in a deep voice. To demonstrate our Navy's determination to capture this person to other member countries of the world government. So, I have decided to set Lin Yu's bounty amount as 1.5 billion. Rear admirals and lieutenants of the Navy took a breath, then were shocked and made a loud noise. What? 1.5 billion. Marshal of the Warring States period, you're not joking, are you? World Economic News Agency. President, there's big news. A journalist ran into the office of Big News Morgan and exclaimed excitedly. Morgan, with a big beak, small eyes, white feathers all over his body, a black feathered top hat, a light blue shirt, and a yellow bow tie, looked up from behind his desk and exclaimed in surprise. Big news. What big news? The reporter held a notebook and flipped through it, speaking at lightning speed. According to the informant we bribed within the Beihai base. The world's noble Tianlong people were attacked in the kingdom of Kachanab in the North Sea, resulting in 2 deaths and 1 disappearance. Saint Roswald and Saint Chaurose died, and Charlotte's palace was abducted. Upon hearing the big news, Morgan stood up in shock. What are you saying? World nobles killed. Yes, President. The reporter nodded repeatedly. Morgoth rubbed his hands excitedly, not right. Excitedly, he rubbed the tips of his wings and crossed back and forth. This is really big news. I didn't expect those garbage dragon people to have today. President, I dare not say such words recklessly. The reporter was shocked when he heard that Morgans dared to privately curse the garbage of the Tianlong people. He, the god-slayer Lin Yu. Taking the notes from the journalist's hand, Morgoth quickly browsed through the intelligence information on it, and when he saw the name of the attacker, he even squinted his eyes. Send my command to the printing room to quickly publish this news in the newspaper. Morgans waved his hand and gave the order directly. Yes, President. The reporter immediately ran out of the office upon hearing this. Godslayer Lin Yu, if you dare to do such a thing, then I'll help you make a name for yourself in the world. Watching his assistant leave, Morgoth poured a glass of red wine and said in a good mood. Bang! Not long after the journalist just ran out, he hurriedly ran in again and said to Morgan. President. Big news. Just now, the Navy headquarters is preparing to issue a wanted warrant for the deicide Lin Yu. How much? Morgan shook his glass and turned his head to ask, then poured the red wine in his hand into his mouth. 1.5 billion Baileys. Puff. Cough cough, how much did you say? Morgan sprayed red wine from his mouth and looked at his assistant in shock. 15 billion. The level of the 4th Emperor Pirate's Vice-Emperor. Quickly, add this message. Yes, President. Beihai. Lin Yu drove the former Saint Roswald, now the Shenu, rapidly in the direction of the overturned mountain. His goal is not to enter the Great Waterway, but to prepare to go to the East China Sea and snatch the beautiful women in the plot of One Piece. The plot characters are all special characters and are the best choice for Lin Yu to quickly expand his pirate group. Although he still doesn't know if Straw Hat Luffy has recruited Nami. But whether it's Nokigo, Magino, or Kia, they are all good targets for him. As long as he receives enough people, the more feedback he receives every hour, and the faster his strength grows. Master, I can't run anymore. Princess Anna, dressed in maid attire, fell onto the deck of the Shenu and looked weakly at Lin Yu on the bow, saying. Behind Anna, Charlotte, wearing a special necklace, had already passed out. Upon hearing this, Lin Yu walked over and grabbed Xiao Lilia. After seeing that the other person was truly unconscious, he shook his head in disgust. What a waste. Chapter 8. You have been surrounded by me alone. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. What a waste. Princess Anna heard Lin Yu's scolding and dared not refute it. She lowered her head and obediently admitted her mistake. Under Lin Yu's several days of swordsmanship education, her friendliness towards him has reached 70, providing him with 7 points of chi and blood per hour. In addition, with authoritative training, it is natural to be obedient to Lin Yu. Wake her up and rest for half an hour before continuing. Lin Yu also knew that the training could not be completed overnight, so he said to Anna. Yes, Master. Anna breathed a sigh of relief when she heard that she could rest. Moreover, Lin Yu's physical strength is very strong, and when she and Xiao Lilia teamed up, they almost couldn't withstand each other's guidance. So she and Xiao Lilia have been suffering unbearably during this period. Dragging Charlotte unconscious, Anna walked towards the lounge, ready to take a good rest. Seeing the 2 women leaving, Lin Yu shook his head. He didn't intentionally torture the 2 of them. According to system feedback, the stronger the crew's strength, the more feedback experience they gain per hour, which is why they are forced to undergo physical training to enhance their strength. However, both Charlotte and Anna have poor foundations and cannot withstand training, so the progress is very slow. Arriving at the bow of the ship, Lin Yu reached out and pressed his hand onto the Shenu. At the next moment, the ropes on the Shenu automatically extended, pulling paint brushes out of the cabin and starting to brush continuously on the Shenu. 2 hours later, the color on the outer layer and sails of the Shenu changed greatly. Without careful inspection, it was impossible to tell that this was the former St. Roswald. Then, a golden dragon flag was raised, and under the blowing of the sea breeze, it made a loud noise. Although Lin Yu's fruit is a pirate group fruit produced by the system, he doesn't want to be any bullshit pirate, let alone hang the pirate flag. To Lin Yu, it is foolish to show off to others that one is a pirate from afar. Isn't it okay to sneak over quietly and then launch a surprise attack? So Lin Yu is planning to transform the exterior of the Shenu into a merchant ship, named the Five Seas Chamber of Commerce. After modifying the Shenu, Lin Yu took out a comic book about Jelma 66 and watched it while supervising Xia Lilia and Anna's physical training. As for why doesn't he practice? Just kidding, if you can grow while lying down, who is still training? Even if training is needed, it is still necessary to give Charlotte and Anna extra training. A few more days passed like this. Lin Yu, who had been bored on the ship, finally met a ship. Is this the ship of Jelma 66? On the deck, Lin Yu was overjoyed to see the huge snail appearing ahead. He didn't expect to meet people from the Wensmok family here. Thinking of the opponent's gorgeous transformation battle suit and bloodline factor transformation technology, Lin Yu was overjoyed. This is the best option to directly enhance his combat effectiveness. Without even thinking, Lin Yu directly controlled the ship and chased after the giant snail of Jelma 66. His swordsman experience card can still be used twice, during which Lin Yu must quickly benefit himself and grow rapidly. And Jelma 66 is undoubtedly his best contender. Whether it's Sanji's sister Vinsmok Riju or Jelma's memory metal shape-shifting device, they are the best choices to quickly enhance his combat power. Moreover, Jelma 66 is a war trafficker with the title of Evil Legion, and Lin Yu has no psychological burden to grab it. Young Master Yongji, there is a giant ship approaching us. In the dining room, a Jelma soldier arrived in front of Wensmok Yongji, who was enjoying his meal, and quickly reported. As long as you dare to approach our warning line, sink it directly. After giving orders, Yongji picked up a piece of pork chop and stuffed it into his mouth. Yes, the Jelma soldier saluted before exiting the dining room. Beside him, Vinsmok Rejoice cut the steak in front of him with a knife and fork, without speaking. On the other side, Lin Yu watched as Jelma put on the raised warning signal and chuckled lightly. Let me try the combat power of this Shenu. The Shenu, which was snatched from the hands of the Tianlong man Roswald, was transformed from a sail-steam dual-power warship capable of accommodating 1,000 people. In terms of horsepower and size, it did not surpass his ship much. And the Heavenly Dragon man, Roswald, equipped the ship with 100 heavy cannons on both sides, which were full of power. With the ability to control the ship, Lin Yu is more able to command his body and make the ship do anything he wants to do. For example, fire a salvo of artillery at the Jelma ship. Flag them to surrender. Lin Yu gave a command to Anna next to him. Anna and Charlotte both showed shocked expressions upon hearing this. Although they all know that Lin Yu is very strong, there are only 3 people on their side. The ship of 3 people wanted to surrender Jelma 66, which was full of soldiers. It's impossible no matter what you think, okay? Yes. Although Anna was thinking about these things in her heart, she still unconditionally obeyed Lin Yu's arrangements. Haha, you dare to flag us to surrender, you're really laughing at me. Wensmok Yongji came to the side of the ship to look at Lin Yu's ship, and happened to see Anna waving flags and laughing loudly. Although the ship on the opposite side looks very large, as long as it is not a naval warship, there is no way to make waves in front of the technology ship of Jelma 66. Yongji, I think we should be more careful. Lei Jiu, holding a newspaper, spoke up next to her and reminded her that she always felt that this ship was a bit eerie. Dare us surrender and sink them directly. Yongji did not listen to Lei Jiu's opinion and directly asked Jelma's soldiers to sink the opponent. Boom boom boom. Dozens of gun barrels extended from the snail ship of Jelma 66 and began shelling the approaching Shenu. Lin Yu saw the incoming shells and reached out to press on the Shenu, manipulating it to dodge all the incoming shells, creating huge waves around the Shenu. Let's see which of us has a stronger artillery. After speaking, Lin Yu controlled the Shenu to start accelerating, all the sails were lowered, and then made slight adjustments according to the wind direction to maximize the sail power of the Shenu. The steam power device inside the cabin has also begun to automatically add coal to provide additional power for the ship. Driven by strong power, the Shenu was like an arrow departing from the artillery attack range of the Jelma 66 snail ship, and then quickly caught up with the Jelma 66 snail ship from the side at a visible speed. That ship is strange. Lei Jiu was shocked and spoke out when she saw the exaggerated speed of the Shenu. There's no such thing as that. Look at me. Before Yongji could finish his arrogant words, he stood still because the Shenu had already arrived at the side of the Jelma 66 and had opened over 100 guns on the side of the ship's side, all aimed at them. It's over. Lei Jiu looked at the densely packed and countless cannon windows of the other party, her heart filled with coldness. Being aimed at by such dense artillery, Lei Jiu knew that as long as Jelma's ship was fired at by the enemy in one round, it would basically be accounted for here. Lin Yu stood on the side of the ship, holding a horn and shouting at the nearby Jelma snail boat. You are already surrounded by me alone. Surrender quickly. Chapter 9. Soldiers who surrender people without fighting. You are listening at Naval full.audio. It's so funny that you want us to surrender. Upon hearing Lin Yu's words, Yongji laughed heartily. As a tool for losing emotions, he was not afraid of such emotions at all. Then, he turned his head to look at Anna and Xia Lulia next to Lin Yu, and his eyes lit up. Anna and Xia Lulia were able to be taken by Lin Yu, not only because they were special boat crew members, but also because they were beautiful. So as soon as it appeared, it attracted Yongji's attention. He is the God Slayer. Lei Jiu was shocked when she saw Lin Yu standing on the side of the ship and recalled the news she had just read in the newspaper. God Slayer. Yongji looked at Lei Jiu in confusion. He has never heard of this name. Lei Jiu handed the newspaper in her hand to Yongji and said with a bitter expression. The news that just came out today is that the God Slayer Lin Yu has killed the world's aristocratic Tianlong people and the king of the Kachinab kingdom in the North Sea. At the same time, they also abducted the heavenly dragon people Charlotte and Princess Anna of the kingdom of Kachinab. He seems to have the terrifying power of a great swordsman, offering a reward of gold. Speaking of the bounty, Lei Jiu paused before continuing. His bounty amounts to 1.5 billion. A reward of 1.5 billion yuan indicates that he has reached the level of the 4th Emperor Pirate Group's Vice-Emperor. Plus his eerie ship handling ability and that giant ship, he's not something we can handle at all. After speaking, Lei Jiu looked at the two women standing next to Lin Yu. That is Xia Lulia, the heavenly dragon man, and that is Princess Anna. He is indeed the God Slayer. When Lei Jiu saw Xia Lulia and Anna standing beside Lin Yu, who were exactly the same as those in the newspaper, she confirmed her guess again. Jelma 66, surrender quickly, no one will be injured. Otherwise, one won't stay. Upon hearing Lin Yu's shout, Yongji, who had finished reading the newspaper, fell silent and looked at Lei Jiu, saying. What should we do now? With Lin Yu's strength comparable to that of the Grand Swordsman of the 4th Emperor, he and Lei Jiu combined are not opponents of each other. In addition, with the opponent's eerie and fast ship, they obviously couldn't escape their pursuit. Send a message to Dad first, then surrender. The other party did not directly attack, but persuaded surrender, which must have his purpose. As long as we can drag Dad and his team to rescue us. Lei Jiu couldn't help but let Yongji surrender. I can't fight, I can't run, and the rest seems to be surrender. The most important thing is that Lei Jiu looked at the other party's posture. If she and others refused, they were afraid that the other party would directly come and shoot several rounds of cannons, directly destroying their own and others' ships. Although she and Yongji could have saved their lives with the help of scientific transformation devices, it was only a matter of time before they were caught by each other without a ship as a foothold. Rather than that, it's better to surrender directly. Okay, then I'll listen to you. Yongji shrugged casually and then asked the soldiers to raise the white flag. On the other side. They actually surrendered. We didn't do anything. Princess Anna and Charlotte were shocked and they saw the white flag rising on the ship of Jelma. Lin Yu, who was holding a trumpet, clearly did not expect the other party to surrender directly. Although he was just trying to persuade surrender, he was just trying to play the joke of, you are already surrounded by me alone. However, if the other party surrendered, it would be better if they saved themselves a top-level swordsman experience card. Although Lin Yu is now notorious, he is just a vegetable chicken with the strength of a second lieutenant, not much more powerful than Dashi Chi 2 years later. Of course, if we were to engage in naval battles on the sea with the addition of the Shenu, Lin Yu's strength would be extremely matched with his bounty, and even stronger. If Jelma 66 chooses to resist Lin Yu, almost everyone except Lei Jiu will have to go and feed the fish. Go get 2 sets of high Lu Shi handcuffs and 2 special necklaces, and have them handcuffed. As he approached the snail boat of Jelma 66, Lin Yu instructed Xia Lilia. Yes, Xia Lilia agreed, took out 2 sets of sea tower stone handcuffs from the warehouse of the Shenu, and threw them onto the ship of Jelma 66, allowing Lei Jiu and Yongji to lock their hands on their own. Lei Jiu and Yongji looked at each other with some hesitation. The handcuffs are okay, but the special necklace is a bit insulting. Seeing that Lei Jiu and Yongji had been hesitant to take action, Lin Yu narrowed his eyes and took out his sword hero card, ready to activate it at any time. Follow suit. Seeing a fierce light shining in Lin Yu's eyes, she glanced at Xia Lilia, a heavenly dragon person who was also wearing a special necklace. Lei Jiu was the first to handcuff herself with the sea tower stone handcuffs and a special necklace, and then Yongji followed closely behind. You board the ship, the others wait, all stay on Jelma 66. Waiting for your father to pay the ransom. Pointing to Lei Jiu, Lin Yu announced his decision. Listen to him. Lei Jiu saw that the other party only wanted her to be a hostage, so she said to Yongji and took the initiative to board the Shena ship. In her opinion, this is the best outcome. After Lei Jiu boarded the ship, Lin Yu piloted the Shenu away from the ship of Jelma 66. If Lei Jiu is taken away, his plan will be half successful. The rest only needs to wait until Jiaji arrives and then discuss with the other party. What are you looking at? Look again, I'll dig out your eyes. After seeing Lei Jiu boarding the ship, Xia Lilia kept staring at herself, feeling a bit embarrassed and angry. Thinking of herself as a noble world aristocrat, the heavenly dragon man, now becoming someone else's maid slave, Charlotte felt a wave of anger and unwillingness. However, when Lin Yu's gaze turned to her, Xia Lilia quickly lowered her head, and all her unwillingness and anger turned into nothing, leaving only fear. Because Xia Lilia was very clear that in Lin Yu's heart, her status on the ship was the lowest, not even Anna, at least Anna didn't need to wear a special slave necklace. And she also knew that Lin Yu was very disgusted with the Tianlong people. If he angered the other party, he would definitely die a miserable death. Seeing Lin Yu's one glance make Tianlong person Xia Lilia obedient, Lei Jiu's statement that she was not shocked was false. As the eldest princess of the kingdom of Jelma, Lei Jiu naturally understands the noble status of the world's noble Tianlong people and the consequences of angering them. Thinking that Lin Yu was acting so crazily that even the Tianlong people dared to kill him, Lei Jiu immediately equated the other person with a madman and decided to wait and obey their arrangements as much as possible. It's better not to provoke the other party as much as possible for this kind of madman. Taking his gaze away from Xia Lulia, Lin Yu looked at Lei Jiu, who had pink hair, and smiled. "Miss Lei Jiu, I wonder where the kingdom of Jelma is now. Can you help me point in the direction?" Waiting for Jelma to come knocking on his door is a waste of time, so he is prepared to take the initiative. Upon hearing Lin Yu's words, Lei Jiu nodded and agreed to the other party's request. Because the other person's ideas coincide with hers. Pointing in a direction, Lei Jiu quickly said. "You can see it by driving in this direction for half a day." Chapter 10. Rules on the Ship. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. Above the sea. The location of the Kingdom of Jelma. Bang. What are you saying? Did Lei Jiu and Yongji get caught? Upon hearing the news from the communication soldier, Wensmak punched his desk in anger. Surprisingly daring to capture Lei Jiu and Yongji, is it true that they deserve the title of Evil Legion for Jelma 66? Master, according to the news that comes back. The person who caught Miss Lei Jiu and young Master Yongji seems to be the recently appeared deicide Lin Yu in Beihai, with a bounty of up to 1.5 billion yuan. Moreover, the opponent has a super-fast and powerful giant ship. Upon hearing the words of the communication soldier, Jiaji was surprised and didn't expect it to be this person. The killing of the Tianlong people by the god-slayer Lin Yu has recently caused a stir in the North Sea, and the Navy has directly dispatched a major general and numerous major generals to arrest the enemy in the North Sea. This led to all pirate groups in the North Sea either disappearing or frantically fleeing towards the Great Passage. In short, the appearance of this person directly calmed down the North Sea. For a while, many ordinary people in Beihai who were troubled by pirates began to appreciate Lin Yu. Thinking of Lin Yu's notorious reputation, Jiaji frowned and instructed the communication soldier. "Go and call Izzy and Nizzy over. Then order all the Jelma soldiers to enter a state of war." Although Lin Yu is very strong, his kingdom of Jelma is not a vegetarian either. If Lin Yu hands over Lei Jiu and Yongji, it's okay. If the other party is unwilling to hand them over, then let Jiaji prepare to let the other party taste the power of the scientific combat forces in the kingdom of Jelma. On the other side. On the Shenu. Lin Yu went to the cabin to check the quantity of coal and shells on board. We may have a naval battle with Jelma later, so we need to be prepared. On the deck, Lei Jiu looked at the empty Shenu, then at Anna and Xia Lulia in front of her, and asked in confusion. "Why didn't you see anyone else on this ship?" "Because there are only the three of us on this ship." Anna looked at Lei Jiu cautiously and spoke up. "Because the task assigned to her and Xia Lulia by Lin Yu now is to keep an eye on Wensmak Lei Jiu in front of her." Xia Lulia looked at Lei Jiu from the side, thought for a moment, and directly asked. "Why did you just surrender directly? We only have 3 people." As Xia Lulia, who hopes that Lin Yu will be arrested the most, this question is the most confusing part for her now. In Xia Lulia's view, Wensmak's snail boat is not small, with many soldiers on it, and there are only 3 people on her side. No, it should be said that there is only Lin Yu, and the other party does not need to surrender directly. It seems that you don't understand his strength. Upon hearing this, Lei Jiu smiled and handed the newspaper in her hand to Xia Lulia. A bounty of 1.5 billion. Anna next to her exclaimed in surprise when she saw the headline in the newspaper. She and Xia Lulia were both on the second floor at the time, and neither of them saw the scene when Lin Yu made a move, so they didn't know much about each other's strength, only knew that they were very strong. At this point, seeing Lin Yu's bounty amount of up to 1.5 billion yuan, I finally have some basic concepts. 15 billion, this is the reward amount for the 4th Emperor's pirate group's deputy level. In addition, he seems to have the ability to control ships. With the cooperation of this ship, there are not many people who can steadily defeat him on the sea. Lord Charlotte, as the original owner of this ship, you should know the terror of this ship. Lei Jiu saw that Anna and Xia Lulia didn't seem to understand this aspect very well, so she spoke up and explained. In the end, she even glanced at Xia Lulia. At this point, she had already guessed that Lin Yu's giant ship had been snatched from the Tianlong people. It goes without saying which Tianlong person snatched it from. Upon hearing this, Xia Lulia had a bitter expression on her face. As the daughter of Roswald, she naturally understood the condition of the ship under her feet, as well as how much modification her father had added to the ship and how much Pele had spent. This ship was not only transformed from the largest naval warship, but also incorporated many of the latest technologies developed by the Navy and Vegapunk. The dual power of sail and steam makes this ship's speed far superior to other warships. The giant heavy artillery equipped on the ship, in terms of range and power, far exceeds other artillery, and this ship has only one side, with 100 of them. Ordinary ships cannot withstand even one round of salvo. Dad, I was really hurt by you. After seeing that Lin Yu had the ability to control ships, Xia Lulia actually knew that she was afraid she wouldn't be able to escape the opponent's palm. However, she still held a glimmer of hope, and only then did she finally recognize the cruel reality she was in when she saw Lei Jiu surrender in fear from the ship. My father was actually killed. Anna finished reading the newspaper and her face turned pale. She naturally does not believe that her father was killed by Lin Yu. Because when she left with Lin Yu, she also saw her father living well. Coming out of the cabin, Lin Yu saw Anna with a pale face and tears streaming down her face, as well as the soulless Xia Lulia. He asked curiously, "What's wrong?" "Father was killed, the newspaper said it was you who killed it," Anna said in a daze. Upon hearing these words, Lin Yu raised his eyebrows and pointed at Xia Lulia, saying, "It must be the mouth destroyed by the Tianlong people." Upon hearing this, Anna immediately felt that it was very likely and rushed towards Charlotte, grabbing her neck and wanting her to pay for her life. Xia Lulia, who was lost in her wits, was suddenly attacked and had no resistance at all. Seeing Anna's actions, Lin Yu frowned. With a flick of his finger, a boat rope fell off his head and hit Anna's back fiercely, leaving a bloodstain directly on her back. Ah! Anna let out a scream and fell to the ground. Xia Lulia broke free from Anna's clutches and immediately ran behind Lin Yu. She had just truly experienced the fear of death. The boat rope wrapped around Anna's neck and lifted her up to take her to Lin Yu. Lin Yu patted Anna's pretty face and said with a smile, "It seems that you have forgotten the rules on this ship. On his ship, everyone except him must coexist peacefully, and those who dare to harm others must be aware of being punished." "Master, I'm sorry." Anna covered her neck, struggling and apologizing repeatedly. When Anna was about to suffocate, Lin Yu threw her to the ground and ordered, "Kneel down." Yes, Anna, who was still in shock, quickly knelt down. "You too." Later, Lin Yu looked at Xia Lulia. Seeing Anna being punished, Xia Lulia, who was still a little happy in her heart, her face immediately collapsed upon hearing this. But she also dared not resist Lin Yu, so she could only kneel obediently by Anna's side. Lei Jiu, standing beside her, saw everything that had just happened in her eyes, and suddenly felt startled. Her gaze towards Lin Yu seemed to be that of a demon. However, Charlotte's friendliness has actually increased, which is something I didn't expect. Seeing the hint of Anna and Xia Lulia's increasing friendship, Lin Yu smiled slightly. However, his smile was extremely terrifying in Lei Jiu's eyes.